This is Josh and Jay's Excellent Video Game Show.
Hello and welcome to Josh and Jay's Excellent Video Game Show, episode 82.
82.
I'm your co-host Joshua. Welcome KWTF listeners. I am joined as always by
Your co-host Jay, and we are joined as always
Co-host Rowan.
co-host with the most exclusive features.
Co-host with
One.
the Momo
One.
most.
One exclusive feature. Rowan the Feech Kaiser.
They call him the Feech.
How you guys doing? It's Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day.
You barbecuing? You camping? You doing the thing?
Nope.
I left the apartment on Friday.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, is that why you weren't on Twitter for a couple hours?
Yeah, probably.
What'd you do?
I went to the DeYoung Museum in San Francisco, and then we went to a restaurant, and then we went to a bar, and all of us were like tired or feeling bad, so we went home. So it was a really wild night in San Francisco.
That's my dream San Francisco night. Everybody's tired.
Sound like a good time.
You went to the DeYoung, but I did not see any pictures of turtles. I feel like when you go there, there's that. Is that the one with the fountain full of turtles?
Maybe.
I did not see a fountain full of turtles.
No, like a pond?
Ninja Turtles?
No, I don't know. Maybe.
We didn't spend much time outside because it was really cold there, because it's San Francisco, and they have, cold.
Where are these fabled turtles?
What do you think about that Ninja Turtles movie?
The one with the noses?
Yeah. Did you see the mock-up someone did of them without noses, and they looked good?
Yeah. Because they look normal. They weren't destroying anyone's childhood.
You guys want to talk about video games?
I guess.
I feel like there's a real laid-back vibe. Maybe it's the summertime vibe.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just don't have opinions about Ninja Turtles.
Maybe it's because E3 is just around the corner and there's no hype.
Yeah. Not much hype at this table, apparently, for E3.
I'm playing a game on my Xbox One.
Get out of town. Get right out of town.
In 1080p at 60 frames per second.
Do you talk at it to play? And that's your favorite thing.
You know, it's not my favorite thing, but I don't think you do. I have not noticed anything like that.
Bummer. So what game is it? Tell us about it.
Wolfenstein 3D. What is it called? Wolfenstein
New Order.
The New World Order.
Just regular New Order.
Yeah.
Like
I've never played a Wolfenstein game before. So
You've
I have
never played any Wolfenstein game
No,
before.
so I have no...
You never even played the original game that invented the first-person shooter.
No, but I remember that game. Like, I think my brothers played... Could that have been on Apple? Like an Apple IIc or whatever?
Maybe.
Yeah, I remember playing the crap out of that first Wolfenstein game.
My older brothers played that game, but I did not play that game. And that's Wolfenstein. What's next? Let's see how fast we can do this podcast with this energy level. So I don't like shooters, really. I don't like the Halos and the Call of Duties and that kind of stuff.
The Calls of Duty.
The Calls of Duty. But I like this game, and I'm surprised I liked it.
It feels kind of like a third-person game, even though it's a first-person game.
It does.
And I don't know why.
Well, there is a lot of you in it, though. Lots of your hands.
Yeah.
And you see yourself climbing things.
You're beating a guy
Yeah,
with a
it
golf
feels
club.
thick.
Or
Everything feels thick. Like, it feels like you feel...
weighty.
yeah.
Yeah, you feel like there
But
is...
not like Gears of War. Sorry.
There is like a being there that is not simply,
Yeah.
the floating camera with a gun sticking out.
Right.
Yeah. And that's partially personality, but it's more just kind of like, I don't know, like how you run into things.
Here's, I think, why I like this game and don't like Call of Duty. And Call of Duty may have all this stuff, by the way, just because I've never played Call of Duty. I just don't like it.
Yeah, but none of us would know, so go ahead.
That's
I played
true.
an hour of it.
Okay.
I
I liked
hated
it. First of all, this game feels kind of like BioShock to me. And I don't really know why. I know that it's got that kind of roller, like
It's
Disney...
the Beach Boys soundtrack, isn't it?
No, but it has German versions of songs in it. So It has...
We are the Beach Boys!
And the soundtrack is by some metal guy. I don't know his name, but it's really good. Like that's they'll
good.
get some kicking metal going when things get exciting. But I think it feels like there's a lot of hitting X to scoop up stuff. Like with BioShock, you know how you kind of just...
A lot of loot scooping.
You just hammer X everywhere you go, picking stuff up.
Loot scooping, sure.
And there's secrets. There's secret rooms. And
that's a total Wolfenstein.
Oh, it is?
Thing. Oh, yeah.
So I just started over. I played about an hour, and I just started over to play that hour again because of something maybe we'll get into later. But I didn't notice there was a map the first time I played.
You have to find the map.
Do you?
Yeah.
I missed the little cue that said to push down on the D-pad or whatever it is on mouse and keyboard to. But the map will show you little question marks where secret stuff is, and I like trying to find that stuff. So
sure.
you clear out a room, an area, and then I like going back and kind of exploring it. Oh, and a cool thing about clearing it out is so if you run into a group of enemies, they'll keep respawning over and over and over again unless you take out their commander. So there's kind of this cool
Dark Souls thing to it. Sounds like.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I
mean, not really. But
yeah.
I'm just thinking about groups of enemies respawning until they don't.
Well, respawning is the worst.
Yeah,
it's the worst thing in video games. It's objectively the worst thing in video games.
Are you looking at me in order to get me to argue?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sit around and say respawning is the greatest thing ever, but Far Cry 2 is the greatest game ever.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely is. It's all of our favorite. We all think Far Cry 2 is the best game ever. But so there's this idea that if you take out the commander, they'll stop respawning, thus giving you the freedom to go and look for these secret spaces and secret items. There's collectibles. So
and like when you see them, that encourages you to like take a tactical approach to try to get the commander without being spotted. Or
that was my next point. Yeah, there's stealth. So there's 3 trees, and there's perks. So if you do stealth, you'll get stealth perks. If you do, I don't know what.
Yeah, it's like if you get 3 headshots with a silenced pistol, you'll get a new perk.
Ooh, right. I love sneaking around with a silenced pistol. That's why I think I like Alpha Protocol so much. That's why I dug Dishonored probably more than some other first-person games.
You remember Dishonored, how you could sneak up and do that kind of kill?
Yeah.
Lots of games have it. You sneak up behind them.
It's like the quick, the silent takedown.
This
basically
has that, and it's the most rewarding silent takedown I think I've ever encountered. And there seems to be many
every detail
variants of it. Well, it's you know what it is. You get up behind somebody. In this case,
no, but I mean specific to this game. Like, is it a reverse neck snap?
Yep.
Is it a chokehold?
I haven't seen a chokehold. I've seen
the knife in the side of the neck.
Is it the knife in the side? Does he do the backhand karate chop to the
I've
Adam's
seen a
apple
foot thing where he ducks down and like grabs the person's legs and he does something with the feet and like picks him up and then stabs him.
Oh, that sounds wild.
So that's fun because if you can, there's usually an alternate route or kind of a secret path that will get you to the commander. So if you don't want to go in guns blazing, you have an option. Like in pretty much every scenario I've been in so far where you see a bunch of dudes and the commander's way in the back and you want to take him out, and you can find a secret path that will get you to the commander so you can take him out first.
It has a good mix of like the old-fashioned first-person shooter of multiple paths and secrets and having to pick up armor and health and so on, with the kind of newfangled roller coaster and more linear levels. Like I feel like the combination really works pretty well.
Yeah, and I like the Disneyland ride. You know, I like that. You know, as I'll trigger an event and something will come crashing through and like all that stuff.
But even that, like some of those are optional. Like at the very beginning, you're running around these trenches in front of a fortified castle, and you can go in circles in the trenches. Like there are various branching paths you can take.
I noticed that.
And like you can see like this giant evil Nazi robot thing, like, and it's doing crazy stuff. And
I am the giant evil robot Nazi.
It doesn't talk, unfortunately.
But how awesome is it the first time you see that thing?
But like you can see it from all kinds of different angles that you may never see if you just go straight through.
Yeah.
So there are all kinds of like it's not. I wouldn't say that it's like open levels. It's not like at Doom level of openness, but there are definitely multiple paths, and it's not just like multiple paths to the same thing.
I got turned around in those trenches because this has no breadcrumb trail, no arrow pointing where you need to go. Sometimes in the distance you can see
it has
a marker.
like if you pick up a bomb and you need to place the bomb somewhere.
But there's no just arrow, so you can't get turned around. And then I think that robot, I like fantasticalness in my games. So when you're this kind of World War II-esque soldier and you're going through the trenches and you look up and just see the scale of this giant robot that's walking over you and doing its own thing. So Rowan, how far did you get? Did you scale a wall?
That's where I stopped.
Okay. So
And
before you scale the wall, I think there's you're inside I think you're inside the castle and you're tasked with taking out these giant guns.
Yeah.
And you can man one of those guns and optionally take out that giant robot.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, and it's totally optional. If you do it, you'll get on your headset like, "Hey, did you just take out that robot?"
Yep, that was me.
There's a lot of
rad.
optional stuff for a game.
It's like in Mass Effect when you can take down sabotage the Atlas mechs or not.
Yeah.
And then they explode and take out a bunch of dudes. I think that's in Mass Effect 2, but anyway.
Yeah, it's real cool.
I love those moments.
There's tons of optional stuff like that, and I love that I'm able to play this game kind of stealthy.
But you said that you can go in guns blazing, and this game lets you dual wield assault rifles.
Yeah,
Nice.
or you can dual wield silenced pistols.
Well, yeah, you can dual wield science pistols and a lot of things, but dual wielding assault rifles I have not seen before, and I'm like, this makes me feel like an asshole to say this, but this feels good.
This game feels real good when you're shooting guns. That's for sure.
And I don't normally think that that's a thing that games should really feel all that great about, but this game does. So, good job, Wolfenstein.
Killing Nazis.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like that separates it from Call of Duty. Is Call of Duty is all like real world terrorists or pseudo terrorists, and you're killing brown people for no apparent reason other than terrorists. These are Nazi ass Nazis.
Oh yeah, they're doing bad stuff, and you see that real early on. And the writing is bad, but it's comic book bad, so it's real good.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like campy or whatever. It's not.
The villain is like Dr. Badface or something. Like it's
Deathface or Death's Head.
Dr. Deathface.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And there's
Because
also,
he's definitely needs to go down. Anyone named Dr. Deathface.
it's real obvious who you need to kill. And I was surprised at how scary this game is. So
He will bring death to right to your face.
He will.
The first time I ran into a dog, I was like, whoa!
Yeah, because there's these giant mechanical dogs that just come at you. And I was playing at night with headphones on. And I was freaked out, man. I was getting scared. But I can't handle dual wielding. I don't think I'm there in life or something. I can't wrap my head around it, Just I can only deal with one thing at a time. Maybe it's because I'm so not used to shooters that I'm just trying to aim with one.
You just hold both things down, and since you have two assault rifles, like aiming.
But what's the advantage? Because you just can only shoot. You can only aim at one spot at a time anyway.
It shoots bullets faster.
Oh,
Like
it seems that the guns shoot pretty fast.
You shoot twice as many bullets though with two guns.
It's faster.
It's
like
just-
the guys just
it's
get
just
knocked
math.
over, and you can blow up cover. Like so, they'll hide behind like these wooden crates or these little things that should not be able to stop physics things, and they don't.
Okay.
So you can take those out a lot faster. And the dual wielding.
Well, I'm just a puppy in a dog's world. I can't handle it. It's too many things.
So what do you rock? How are you playing
I rock
what do you favor?
rock the piss. It's we talked about in Batman how you go in all Batman until you mess up.
Yeah,
and then
it's
just
on.
Yeah, so I go in with my pistol trying to be all stealthy, and then if I trigger an alarm, although you know what, I can tell I really like this game because I've been doing I messed up restart. I want to get it right. I want to go in.
Oh.
Okay, he's going to walk by here. I'm going to sneak up behind him. And then this guy's going to do
the more you talk about it, the more it just sounds like Alpha Protocol to me, but in first person and with Nazis, and that makes me want to play it.
and not totally broken.
That makes me want to play Alpha Protocol.
Yeah.
Have you not played Alpha Protocol?
No.
Well, but
beginning.
when this episode goes up, there should still be this big Amazon PC game sale going on, which last I checked had Alpha Protocol for $3, I think.
Oh, I own Alpha Protocol.
Yeah, I'm just saying for anybody out
For the
there
people.
that might want to find a
forget
little
there's
diamond in the
listeners.
rough. Yeah, sometimes some people.
Who are you talking to?
The two people.
Like, hey, Brad Galloway, have you played Alpha
Yeah,
Protocol
right?
yet?
It's like, hey, Brad, this is...
two people are out there, and one of them might consider looking at Alpha Protocol online before they decide not to get it. So,
Speaking of listeners, which we do have more of now, I was thinking about we've been talking about doing a maybe listener mail section. So,
yeah, we need listeners to send us mail to do that.
Yeah,
which usually helps.
So
if anybody out there,
I don't even know if email is old now. You know what I mean? Like they're like email.
Just Snapchat us.
Yeah, Snapchat us some questions.
Sure.
JoshandJShow@gmail.com.
Yeah, or just on Twitter.
Or at Josh and Jay Show.
Or at Josh and Jay Show on Twitter. But, I feel like the kids, our demographic is actually 55 to 65.
Yeah.
But if kids were listening, they probably have some new thing. Yeah, some new, they don't, like Twitter, like they're on some new next level thing probably.
They are.
Snapchat's old.
It's that friend swoosh. You check that.
Friend swoosh.
You've been on Friend Swoosh lately because that's
Pied Piper.
That's where Pied Piper. That's where all the kids are now. Friend Swoosh. You just for 5 minutes you're friends and then that's it. It's over.
Tinder us.
Yeah. Grindr us.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Kids out there, especially young kids, Grindr us. Just hit us up on Grindr.
No.
Our name on Grindr is Josh plus J Show.
Oh no. No. Don't do it. But seriously though, what do you think it is about Wolfenstein going back to
I
games
don't know, because
that makes you really into it? Just I'm going to say despite the fact that it's a first person shooter, not because first person shooters we think are inherently bad, they're just not our favorite, right? It's safe to say nobody at this table has a favorite,
Right.
First-person shooters are no one's favorite here.
Though we've played lots of things that are kind of like that, like Mass Effect and Bioshocks and...
But I mean specifically, I have always preferred third-person from like a mechanical perspective. I like making the guy shoot that I can see on the screen. I like making him duck into cover. I like that separation.
I like first person games a lot more than you all, but it's definitely true for you too.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the things I mentioned. I don't
not like them. I just have a preference.
Yeah, and my preference is much stronger for first person than yours is.
Well, I think shooter, you like.
So you prefer first person shooters over third person shooters
for shooting games? Yes.
Okay.
Generally, I don't see that much of a difference. Like there can be a difference in a game like Spec Ops. Like Spec Ops really divided you between the player and the player character.
Yeah, and
that made sense given that that was the game it was.
I don't see much of a difference either because Gears of War is a shooter.
Yeah, but so I think the main difference is that the third-person shooter fits consoles better because they become more about movement and less about aiming. I mean, there's still a lot of aiming, but they become more about where you're placing yourself as opposed to on PC where it's like trying to maintain aim while moving a lot faster, historically speaking.
No, I buy that because I definitely prefer the mechanics described. Like I prefer the more movement focused, getting better position rather than keeping your eye on the cursor the whole time.
Yeah, and there are other things like console based shooters or third person games tend to have much fewer weapon options. So like in a Halo or whatever, you have 2 weapons. In Mass Effect, in Mass Effect 1 you have 4. In Mass Effect 3 you can have 3.
Sure.
But you're usually switching between 2. Whereas in a PC game where you can, press 1 through 9, you can have all those be weapons.
Yeah.
Sure.
Makes sense. I think to the original thing, I mean, I'm playing this game kind of like Dishonored. So
okay. So cool. You can do that.
I'm going to do it. Like, the battles are these things and the battles feel like puzzles to me because there's that mechanic of... there's a way to get to the commander usually. That's
my favorite thing about shooty games is when they give you an aspect of it where you feel like there is a right way to do this, or not a right way. There is a most efficient way.
It's the right way for the stealth kind of tree I'm going down, but I'm sure it's as rewarding if you go in guns blazing so there's the stealth kind of probably headshotty tree and then explosion tree. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not even necessarily tree. There is a little bit of tree component, but like if you have the thing unlocked, you can, shoot whatever.
Oh yeah, it's not a tree. It's not an either or. You just get these perks as you do stuff. And
Okay,
you also
so
can upgrade your weapon.
it's merit based.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's divided into 3 paths, but they're not.
Okay.
You don't choose between them.
Yeah, so you can switch between stealth and
Yeah.
dual wielding assault weapons.
It's not even switching. I mean, it's just whatever. Yeah.
just by
Yeah.
switching weapons.
Yeah.
It's not banned by flame.
It's not.
Okay.
It also has an upgrade system because I found a silencer, and now I have a silencer. So
I'm not sure if there's a whole upgrade system, but you're further than me. But
it might not be much more than that.
yeah, it might just be like that. You press whatever button and it attaches the silencer, or you press whatever button and you're dual wielding.
It's attached to a different on the controller. So for the silencer,
Oh no, not dual wielding. The assault weapons, it's single shot versus assault.
Oh, so everything probably has
An alternate mode.
a primary, and alternate mode. Yeah, that's cool too.
And don't forget about the dual wield power stance.
And the dual wheel power stance.
Hold down Y and then
So
And then you
all
got
that
both
stuff,
lightsabers,
and then you do like a spinning like cartwheel where you're shooting in full 360 degrees.
That would make me throw up. So it's all that stuff is why I like it. I don't know. I like
Okay.
all that stuff,
Cool.
and it looks good, and it runs good.
So this is a first-person shooter that I would like.
I like it.
I mean, if Josh likes it, I think you guys tend to have congruent first-person shooter.
It reminds me a lot of BioShock, and I liked BioShock.
And it's kind of like Far Cry 3, except doesn't seem to be too racist.
It's racist, but it's the good kind.
anti-racist.
It's racist against Nazis.
You're fighting race. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're fighting.
You
the
aren't
racists.
the racist.
Yeah.
you're shooting racists.
Yeah, you're shooting racists in the Deathface.
I think Dr. Deathface is our title, unless we...
Yeah, I think probably. Got to shoot him
Well,
right
I
in
think the title
Deathface.
should be then. He's the one they call Dr. Deathface.
Yeah, it doesn't make you feel all right because you're dead.
So
Look
that
at the
game
Deathface.
also came out of nowhere for me.
Well, at this point,
The reviews are good, but it seemed like no one was stoked about it prior to that.
Yeah, well, at this point though, how excited can you really get about
Life. Just
No,
anything.
all right. Duke Nukem,
right,
Thief.
right.
There have been some good ones, like although Tomb Raider feels more like an evolution than a reboot to me, because it never really, like, Tomb Raider never really went away and
Tomb
then
Raider
came
was good.
back. But Tomb Raider was good.
Thief, no.
Thief, I haven't even been interested enough to play it.
But that's what I mean. I keep playing the first hour and going no. Okay, so there. Thief, I played the first hour twice, and the whole time it was like, ugh. Wolfenstein, I played the first hour twice. Like, I'm going to start over and do this again and do something different. I'm excited about it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean,
It's nice to hear that one of these old beloved, characters and worlds that come with them was sort of like done justice, I guess.
You know what? Wolfenstein is fun, and the narrative is fun. Thief
Great.
is all heavy and takes itself seriously.
Yeah.
This is like comic book fun.
I mean, I think the premise is Captain America.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, he as an assault on an evil comic book villain, and then he falls
Right,
and
they're like-
comes back 20 years later.
They're like, what if Captain America looked just like all of his enemies?
Except he already does. Captain America's a burly blonde dude.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
And this
But
guy...
but his name isn't like
BJ Blazkowicz.
No, it's it's not like I don't know what's a German name. It's not like
Hans?
It's not like Hans Wolfenstein.
Franz?
Or Franz. Hans or Franz Wolfenstein.
There's also like some really good representation stuff going on. This is the first time in a long time I played a blockbuster where the main character did not have like a beard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He does
he's
not have
but
a
wait
beard.
a
not
minute.
scruffy.
Wait, I'm probably remembering wrong because the guy's name isn't Wolfenstein, right?
No, it's B.J. Blazkowicz.
Yeah, the game is took place at Castle Wolfenstein. That's why it was called Wolfenstein, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's like Frankenstein's monster.
Right.
for the beardless among us, which listeners, we are like the only video game podcast not to be beard dominated.
Yeah,
That's true.
That should be our biggest marketing thing about
It's a
when
beard
when
with
we
like
talk
a
about
circle
our show.
with a line through it, and then
Yeah.
a beard should be our logo.
No beards. We're the no beardo podcast.
Has
video
there
game
ever been a
podcast.
beard on the podcast?
Oh yeah, Taylor.
Oh, that's right.
Stu,
Yeah.
Taylor Cock, Stu Horvath.
Gus. Was Gus been on the podcast?
Gus has been on the podcast.
Yeah.
Stu and Chuck.
Well, no
Chuck,
more.
Chuck sometimes rocks a beard, sometimes rocks a really, really sweet, like, Selleck stash or handlebar mustache. He's
Yeah.
really good at facial hair, I think.
Jen Frank,
No, Jen Frank doesn't
luxurious
have a beard.
beard.
Oh, that's Jen Frank's luxurious beard.
Maybe we could name the podcast that. We'd get another download.
But Rowan, you could grow a beard pretty quick, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm usually the scruffiest among us. But
Yeah,
I did shave today, but
I'm the opposite of scruffy.
You don't rock the mustache.
No.
I tried.
I could maybe grow a John Waters mustache. That's like the only thing I think that I might be able to pull
I
off.
can see that.
A little John Waters
Yeah.
pencil stash.
I've tried to do
I'm not
it.
going to.
I
but-
can't get past that initial kind of just uncomfortable.
where you just look like you are really into little kids.
Yeah, and it also just feels it feels like there's something on my face. I don't like it.
Yeah, and it looks like there's something on your face.
And there is.
Yeah.
Perv.
Yeah.
my cat really likes to lick my scruff when I have scruff. And it's just the cutest thing in history. So, like, I save shaving for a little while for him.
Nice. Oh, because the cat's tongue feels like stubble when it licks you.
Yeah, he's got a, it's not as sandpapery as some cat tongues, but Josh and Jay's excellent cat tongue show.
When I was thinking about getting Wolfenstein, because I read the reviews and I heard people talk about it and it sounded all right, and then I saw it was on Xbox One, I got real excited.
It's a game on this machine I own.
Yeah.
Speaking of, like, I think that's the only reason anyone gives a damn about Watch Dogs.
Why?
Because it's, like, the next-gen game.
Well,
know.
I'm definitely getting that game and playing it on Tuesday.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
What?
I don't even get it. Like, I don't get, like, what I've seen previews, I've seen
What's
everything.
not to get?
What do you do? Like, it looks so dumb. I just don't get it as a game. It looks like, first of all, did you see the grid of promotional items you get for this game when you?
Oh
buy
yeah,
it? So,
I did, and I heard this on another podcast too already.
okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, except that.
Except
for
here are
me,
all the things that are wrong with it.
It makes it's like in when you get Dragon Age or something.
Yeah,
you
but
get-
it's
you live-
just it's like, oh, your character has a different color hat.
well, it means that stuff is meaningless, right? Like it means that.
Yeah,
Okay, well, what's up with this game?
it's
What do you do? You walk. What do you,
It's Assassin's Creed with except you're a hacker.
it
instead
looks
of
like
a-
Assassin's Creed.
it's Grand Assassin's Theft Auto Creed, Driver San Francisco in Chicago.
And it takes place in 3 of the boringest neighborhoods of Chicago.
How do you know exactly where it's not just an open
So,
map?
How
of
do you
Chicago?
know which neighborhoods of Chicago are the most?
Someone
boring?
was talking about it. They were linking to it, and they were like, it's just like the Loop and a couple neighborhoods next to the Loop.
The
And
Loop
that's
is there's a free zoo over there. How can you call that boring?
it. The free zoo is a little north of the Loop.
Okay,
I mean, it might be North Loop, but it's not in the Loop.
so, Jay.
I don't understand how they could only have like 2 neighborhoods of Chicago.
Well, why did Driver San Francisco not have Oakland?
because
it was racist.
well, yeah, but if you were like,
did
okay,
you
you're
see
not.
Godzilla?
But if you were like, okay, you're not going to have Gary, Indiana in this game, I'd be like, sure, you're not. It could be about Chicago. I was pissed about Oakland, but I don't think anybody else noticed the difference.
Okay, but did you see Godzilla?
No.
Oh, either of you? Okay. It has Oakland in it, but it's some...
Oh yeah, I heard
forested
that Oakland is
paradise.
on the other. Oakland's on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah,
I heard about
it's
that.
beautiful.
That'd be nice. We could, if you want to pretend that, I'm willing to perpetuate that lie.
I don't know. Actually, I don't have anything bad to say about Watch Dogs. I just don't. I have not seen anything to make me feel like that looks interesting to play.
It feels like its prime reason for existing and being anticipated is in order to justify new consoles.
But it's coming out on everything.
Well, of course, it's an Ubisoft game. But it's also coming out on the new console, so that makes it a big deal.
Yeah, but you guys also do get that there is a game in there.
What do you do?
There is a game to be played.
They always show that as your kind of like you hack stuff.
Like you guys are being hella hipsters right now.
We were just talking smack about hacking minigames and how they're the worst.
And this game is all hacking. But I don't know if it's necessarily riddled with mini games where you do it. It may just be... I don't know. Look, what got me excited about it is I saw... cop chases through
don't get
through the
defensive.
city of Chicago. I'm just explaining.
I hate when people say that to me.
Yeah, relax.
Relax.
That's
Don't
the
be
word.
defensive.
Why are you such a Watch Dogs fanboy?
Relax.
No, you have to make the world understand
No,
why it's your favorite game.
Why this game is like Mass Effect plus 3s.
I love it. You can't just be like, I'm not that into it, and you kind of are. Like, it has to be
Right. You
I
hate
hate
it. You wish everybody who made it would die and all their family members. And I think that they should be given their own island.
Is Watch Dogs the future? Is it in the Assassin's Creed universe, and it's the future part of that game?
It takes place in the
Are you gonna run it at
the
Desmond?
virtual reality thing.
What are the 3 most exciting neighborhoods in Chicago?
Well,
The Loop.
you've got the Loop. You've got downtown.
Downtown,
I would
Free
not.
Zoo.
That probably wouldn't have been my first choice.
Is there
but-
Wicker Park?
Wicker Park is an outdoor shopping mall now, but yeah, that's a neighborhood. That's one Chicago neighborhood. That
I was
exists.
just visiting Chicago a couple years ago with my friend Morgan. Lived in Wicker Park,
Wow.
and it was kind of like, you know, when you're in Brooklyn and you see a couple of dudes walk by, and they're just all in on. I don't know how to describe it. They're so hip, but it's just on this next level of ridiculous. Like, one has antennas on, and then a tank top, and then big floppy, and then like scuba gear.
You mean ravers?
I don't know. They're just all in on some next level of something that you could only get away with in this specific area. That's how Wicker Park was.
I don't know, but getting back to Watch Dogs and that version of Chicago, I had imagined, like, look, this is the company that made Driver San Francisco, which I thought was an excellent game and did an excellent representation of San Francisco for the purposes of that game, despite...
Is there driving in this game?
Yeah.
It's Grand Theft Assassin's Creed.
I can't wait to see what this game is.
I read a thing saying that 9 different studios were working on different parts of it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
Ubisoft. It's like
But like this is a good sign for this game's thematic coherence.
What do you think the Metacritic score for this game's going to be? I bet this game has already sold 1 billion copies. So
I bet this game is going to have an 87.
you think so?
Yeah, that's my pick.
I think it's going to have an 79.
79.
And if it doesn't, I'll make it a 79. We're the press. I'll write a review. Because I hate this game.
Yeah, good call. Drag it down. Drag that Metacritic score down.
People are going to give it higher scores because it is a probably competent game on a next generation console. So they'll be like, this is the game that defines the Xbox One. This is the new Infamous or whatever.
I don't know. I feel like there's kind of blood in the water for this game right now, a little bit.
Only for us.
Really?
Only for us beardless.
Oh, just only the beardless.
Well, the guy wears like a handkerchief, little do-rag thing around his face,
Yeah,
and
he's
I
got
think
that-
and I think it's to hide the fact that he doesn't have a beard. I think that
No, they revealed it. He's got scruff.
no,
I mean, it's like Nathan Drake level scruff, so we're not talking like full beard.
Bird flu paranoia.
yeah, it looks like that.
Comes out soon, right?
Tuesday.
Did you pre-order it?
No, but I'm going to preload it on my PS4 because you can do that.
Oh, you're gonna play it at 900p?
I'm going to play it at whatever it is.
900, I think.
All right.
However many P you're going to pee on it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of games suddenly coming out.
Yeah, but shouldn't this be the time? There are, but I feel like when is the time before? Like, when do we get to go back and just play old games because there's no games coming out? Is that next month?
That's usually like July and August, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, usually like maybe June and July. It's weird that there are a bunch of games coming out now.
So we got Wolfenstein just came out.
Transistor came out.
Transistor came out.
Tropico 5 came out. And there was this other strategy game that I was like, I should pitch a review of. Wait a minute, I am reviewing 2 games this week.
What's the game that hits on E3? There's always one game that like hits oddly on E3. And
Watch Dogs, apparently.
Yeah, probably Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
When is E3?
The 9th.
Okay. Well, okay, Watch Dogs is before that, but there is something else coming out.
There's that Mordor game.
Oh, yeah, that Shadow. That's right, the Lord of the Rings. That's not coming out till later this year, though. I think.
I think it's summer.
I'm pretty sure it's like not till August at the earliest. Maybe
And
not
September
till
is
like
just
October.
Destiny, right? It's like Destiny month.
No, but there is a game coming out next month that's coming out on like PC and next gen systems.
Bound by Flame 2.
Yeah,
It is. No, it's that some game about like a ghost, and it's got some kind of. I don't even know much about it.
Oh, does it have a name?
It's called like
Dr. Deathface.
Dr. Deathface Soul something. I don't. We do so much research for this show that it's hard for us to keep our facts straight sometimes.
What should we call the intern over?
I think it's called Murdered Soul Suspect. And this game
heard of that.
has all the makings of a huge flop.
But you're gonna love it. You and Brad Galloway.
But me and
Brian
like
Taylor.
no, me and
Yeah.
Brian Taylor will probably love the crap out of it.
Isn't there a Sherlock game coming out?
There is a
Is it next gen?
There is a next gen Sherlock game coming out. It was announced for Xbox One too. Originally, it was only PS4 as far as next gen.
Now, is this the Benedict Cumberbatch or Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock?
Or the girl version? Because isn't there a girl U.S. remake?
No, that's Watson, who's
yeah.
who's Lucy Liu.
Oh, okay. And then September, Destiny, and then
Dragon Age.
Dragon Age.
Oh yeah, Dragon Age.
And then Fallout 4 a year later.
Dragon Age. So I want some Dragon Age so bad.
Me too.
I want some Dragon Age so bad.
That's my first game that I'm looking forward to for reals this year.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the first game this year that I have to have the talk. You
Well,
know,
I don't
with
care.
with the lady.
I don't
Like,
care.
look,
I'm looking forward to Watch Dogs. That's coming out soon, and I don't care if you guys think it's going to be dumb. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't
And you
know.
can't-
I don't think it's
you
gonna be
can't-
dumb.
And
I
you
just
can't
don't-
convince me that it's not.
The only-
It might be dumb. It might be super dumb.
I just
but
haven't
I'm-
seen anything.
But I'm going to do freaking donuts in front of the L train, and you can't stop me.
The only game with dogs that I care about is Wolfenstein.
Robot dogs.
Robot dogs.
See how Rowan just brings it all back? Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about more stuff.
We'll do some research.
Welcome back.
So moving on to something completely different. I played a game that was all about Nazis.
What game?
I played through Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis this week.
This podcast is coming to you live from 1994.
Yep, pretty
I
much.
played Last Crusade when I was a kid, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I kind of remember playing a little bit about this game. I sort of played through it after work a little bit every day throughout this past week and finished it up yesterday or the day before. The ending of that game is messed up, man.
You beat it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I finished it, but I might have used a little game facts.
Did the Nazis win?
Not necessarily, but
Do you go to Antarctica in that game or something?
you go to Iceland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no. But I could see how you might think
I
that
remember
was
like a
Antarctica.
snowy area.
Yeah, revolves around a dig site in Iceland that you go to early on in the game. So if
Does it
you
have
only
that-
played a little of it, you probably would have seen that part.
Does it have the wonky fighting that was in Last Crusade?
Yeah, where you have to punch people, and it's basically like the point and click adventure version of Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah. There's like a punch and maybe a block.
Yeah, I think there's a block. I don't think I messed around with that much.
See,
Just punches.
There's a funny thing where I'd heard about this game for a long time and never really played it because I was never that into Indiana Jones. And then eventually, like, it was on Steam sale for like $2, so I finally grabbed it and I looked at screenshots and I was shocked to discover that it was like a Sierra-style adventure game where you're moving little Indiana Jones around.
Yeah.
I had always had it in my head as one of those like first-person adventure games where you go from screen to screen.
Oh, no.
It's all Maniac Mansioned out.
Yeah, that was just really weird to me because like I feel like I've got a good grasp on historical PC games, and I just had this one wrong in my brain.
I forgot that it was voice acted because I saw you playing it and fired up the beginning.
I don't think that when it first came out that it had voice acting. I think it was
must have.
text only. No, I think there was a version that came out with voice acting after it was originally
That happened
released.
a fair amount with
Really?
games where they'd come out on floppy disk and then CD-ROM would be like, we
Floppies,
can
man.
add voice acting now.
Yeah. But I think that game totally holds up. I mean, I'm an adventure game fan, and
You're playing with your Sound Blaster?
I'm playing with my Sound Blaster card. Yeah,
How's the
for
controller
sure.
support?
No controller support. But it's fine. It's easy. It's not a lot
Those
of
games are fun.
It's not a lot of pixel hunting kind of frustration going on with this game.
Does
either.
the multiplayer have like those unbalanced perk things that like reward the people who've been playing the longest?
Yes, that's the really frustrating part. And people cheat all the time. People are using mods and stuff. It's really frustrating.
Both Last Crusade and Fate of Atlantis have that cool intros, I think.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that's really great about it is that sort of like the films, they have an opening and then the credits, or the credits are sort of rolling with the opening sequence that parlays into the bigger story that goes on throughout the game. Like
And they both start by setting up Indiana Jones as this kind of teacher. He's at his...
well,
he's at
no,
the school.
usually he's doing something or investigating something.
Oh, that's right.
And then
Yeah.
after that part's over, it's like he's back from an adventure and he's, writing on the chalkboard. And
Right.
Or doing whatever in the school.
These both start at the chalkboard, though, sort of, right?
This one starts with him kind of snooping around, actually. But I think it's in...
I thought he was
it's
in the
in the
school.
college. He
Yeah,
is
yeah.
in the school, doing like adventure stuff in the school. So
the-
they just kind of combine the two.
So here's... This sucks about modern... This is the only thing that sucks about modern video games, is the Last Crusade came with his diary. And it had coffee stains, and it was thick, and you opened up and it had all this stuff in it. It was so cool.
You
remembered my
Charlemagne
Yes,
Junior.
that's pretty good.
That's
Okay,
the only.
now do the
that's the
SNL.
only. That's the only word you need to know how to say. Junior.
Yeah, but now you need to do the Jeopardy, the SNL Jeopardy.
No, I'll take the rapist for 500 Trebek.
Yeah, those games are
Sorry,
fun.
that was terrible.
What else have you been playing? Or you want to talk about that more?
No, I
good.
really enjoyed it, and I was shocked that when you get to the end, it's kind of tough to get the good ending. You could sort of go through a long
It's
series
multiple
of
endings?
Yeah, there's dialogue options, and you can basically end up killing yourself and then demolishing like the whole ruins of this ancient civilization that you found.
So can you save and reload and stuff?
Oh, sure.
That's a fairly common feature in video games.
Isn't it? Yeah. Well, sometimes. So that package, LucasArts package, also came with the Dig or Loom or
The
something.
Dig is the one on
Yeah,
Steam.
the Dig. I have the Dig, which I haven't played through yet, but that's another.
Have you played that
another
one?
old-
Jen Frank tried to start a adventure game club and play it, but I'm not sure if anyone actually did play it.
Probably Brian Taylor.
Brian Taylor was in the club.
Yeah, that was the club. Brian Taylor and Jen Frank playing the Dig.
Well, I was in the club too. I just don't think that.
That's actually that's a cool club. I would like to be in that club.
I played an adventure game.
What did you
What'd
play?
you play?
I played episode 3 of The Walking Dead.
Oh. You guys are still playing that?
Yeah, I actually played through that this morning.
Did you see that I had played through it?
No, but I figured I could try to squeak it in. I wasn't even sure if you would have had it finished by now.
I tweeted late at night so that you could do that in the morning if you had seen those. But apparently you did it anyway. So
Would have had.
Woods have had.
So, okay. Well, I'll look at my phone and you guys talk about Walking Dead.
perfect. So I didn't really like this one that much.
Whoa! I hated it. Jay, tell us why you loved it and it's your favorite episode.
It was definitely the most brutal.
That's part of why I didn't like it. This episode felt, I think the first time since they started the games, it felt like the show, and the show is not good. Like the show has like a certain momentum to it. The show has some drive to it, but the show does a horrible job of like maintaining characterization and themes in the way that like good shows do.
Yeah, there was some. I think the maintaining the characterization, like you said, I think that kind of went off the rails this episode.
Yeah, so like you get stuff on the show where it ends in like this horribly brutal piece of violence that like it's amazing that they can get the makeup to do that, and like that's their cliffhanger. And the game had not done that. The game always ended on a character note, and this one ended on this brutal piece of violence. And I'm just like, oh come on.
Yeah, there were some what I felt like were cheap thrills in this episode compared to previous ones.
And that's usually what the game has avoided, and that's why a bunch of people who both read the comics and watch the show say like the games get something that those don't.
I don't think all of the violence was gratuitous. I think that there were some especially brutal moments that were well done.
Yeah.
And that did help the sort of progression of the this story, and sort of it evolved the dynamics of the group in an interesting way, especially with regards to Kenny. I think that there was some stuff with Kenny that was really great this episode. I don't know how spoilery we want to get with it. It's been out for a little while. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know how specific to get, but there were some things, like there was a new character that they introduced this episode.
Who's the guy that retweeted you?
That's the new character.
Okay.
Comedian Kumail Nanjiani.
That's awesome.
Provides a voice, and his character kind of looks like a middle-aged balding version of him a little bit. I mean,
I knew I recognized that voice from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh right.
Is he just like, zombies suck?
he actually is pretty similar to his personality, as I've listened to it on his podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, he's funny.
He's super funny.
But I mean, he's funny in a way, in the same kind of way that he's funny in the game in the same way that he's just kind of funny.
He has that delivery that's across the board.
Yeah.
On Harmontown, on his podcast, on Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
But it's not just that it was the violence that I thought made it kind of thematically meaningless, though it had a bunch of that. But it was just like, I thought about it, and in the first Walking Dead season, it's got like three things that are kind of driving the game. It's got like Lee's redemption and surrogate fatherhood of Clementine, and like you know that at some point he's going to have to let her go and probably die in the process. Spoilers for a 2012 game. But then you have Clementine looking for her parents, and you know that that's going to be resolved at some level, and that sort of escalates throughout each of the episodes. And then you have Kenny's plan to find like a new safe haven, like to get the boat and to be free. So all these things are kind of defining the structure of the game and leading to, other than the second episode, which is just like, oh, we're going to wander off over here for a while. But all of these things are sort of leading up throughout the 5 episodes, and that's just not happening in this game. And I thought it was sort of there in the first 2 episodes, where the party is traveling north to find this place that's supposed to be really great, and Clementine is also trying to find Krista again. Mm-hmm. So those were there, but neither of those things were mentioned at all in this episode.
Yeah, it was like this felt like a completely different set of writers jumped on and they were like, okay, so this is what our story is going to be.
Yeah. And it just kind of felt like it's just a bunch of stuff that happens. Like bad things happen to people in the zombie apocalypse, which is kind of the theme of the show.
Yeah, but there were things that, you know how we talk about sort of building up goodwill with certain characters and how there's sort of, you know, they gradually build a more nuanced characterization of certain really important roles.
Yeah, they start two-dimensional and then
they become really complex. Like you start out hating one guy, but then you kind of start to understand where he's coming from, and you kind of feel bad for him, or whatever it is. And in this episode, I felt like they cashed in a lot of those chips, and it was like, oh, this is what you have to show for it.
Yeah,
like it wasn't,
especially the villain.
Yeah, it was a little bit of it fell flat.
Yeah, the villain, like, he's trying to talk to Clementine, and it's like there's sort of a meta thing where he's saying, like, you know, we're the people who are the leaders, we control people. And he's like kind of talking about agency. Like, Clementine is the player.
Yes.
Clementine chooses what's happening, and he's saying, like, I'm like you, we're like each other, which could be good, except that he's just a cartoon villain. He just
was it straight up
people.
the you know, you and I are a lot alike kind of villain,
yes,
like Bond.
Yes,
villain.
exactly. You know, Mr. Bond,
Yeah.
we are not so different. You and I. It was exactly that conversation.
Except that this guy never actually, like, showed it. It was just like he acknowledges that you're the player character, and then he's just a total jerk. Like, he just beats on people, he murders people. There's nothing to make this guy seem like anything that Clementine would see as worthwhile.
They try to instill this idea that he's making hard decisions for the greater good of the group, or what he perceives as the greater good. But that logic is not backed up with by anything. I mean, there is nothing to show that his line of reasoning is beneficial or pragmatic whatsoever, which really hurts. Yeah, he is a two-dimensional character. That's why it's disappointing. All the other characters, there is some nuance to them, and I wanted to find something out about why this horrible character became like that. Like, what is his motivation? And maybe that motivation is something that we should have compassion for, and that would make him a complex character. But there's nothing.
Maybe that arc is longer than this episode.
Nope.
Oh, 'cause he's gone now.
I'll just say that the arc is not longer than this episode.
Do you know this is episode 3?
3.
Do you know how many episodes there are?
5.
5.
Oh, okay.
They do 5 a season.
It feels like they're also trapped by the structure of the first game, where in the first game it was kind of divided into 2 parts, and it switched halfway through the 3rd episode, where you have this main group that you find early in the first episode,
right?
And then huge dramatic things happen, half of them die or leave or whatever, and then you get half of a new group again. And then so you, like, work with those people. And it feels like it's trying to do exactly the same thing here, but it doesn't feel like it's earned in any way. And it didn't entirely feel earned in the other one, but the deaths and the leaving all felt earned. But I don't feel like the new batch of characters that they got was as in episode 1.
I don't think it's enough episodes.
The thing,
or you know, to do.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it's this. I believe that you can kind of make a story out of whatever constraints you have. I mean, if it was only 3 episodes, it would be a different kind of story. If it's, you know, knowing that it's 5 episodes. I don't necessarily think that's the issue. If it was twice as long as that, it would probably tell a different kind of story.
Could the issue be the process of having to develop these games and having to write them and having to have them fit together, and it's just getting lost somehow?
It's possible. I don't think I'm necessarily in a position to diagnose where it's going wrong from like a logistics standpoint.
I would like to know that, though, how that process.
I don't even know that it's gone that wrong. Like, I don't think this episode was bad. I don't think it was the weakest that they've ever done.
No, not at all.
I just feel like it's just kind of a bunch of stuff that happened, to use the Homer Simpson line. Like, it didn't feel like it had a strong connecting thread, but maybe the next one will, and it'll be okay again.
Well, we've talked before about some we like, you know, in X-Files there was the thread of the show, and then there was the one-off, you know, here's the werewolf episode, or Temple of Doom.
Yeah, but that is the thing about The Walking Dead, is there's sort of no such thing as Walking Dead B-sides. You know, there are no like
The second episode of the first season, when they went to the cannibal house, is like the closest they've gotten to that.
That was great.
That's true. That
I
is
didn't
the
like
closest
that
they've gotten to that, but it still all comes back around to the main plot. But you're right. That's the closest to like a B-side. I think
like that
they've done.
story. I didn't like that it was filled with shooting.
Yeah.
This was also one of the least gamey ones they've done.
Oh, I thank you for bringing that up, because I think that season 2 in general has been going this direction, and this episode I think proved me right by being the least interactive episode that there has been.
Just dialogue to get through it.
There's not even that much dialogue, and there's just not that much anything that you play. It's almost all cutscenes that you're watching.
Cutscenes, and then you choose, and then you watch, and then you choose. It felt like the Wolf Among Us episode 2, which was basically just all a bunch of interrogation scenes. It's like, I want to get up and get myself a drink, and I don't know when I can do that.
There's only
right.
one moment where you can walk around freely, and there's more than maybe one object to examine or look at. And even then, it's a very small area, and there's like maybe 4 or 5 things to look at.
I don't think there's anything that you would call a puzzle in this one.
Well, I feel like that's the direction they've been going in.
It's the direction they've been going in, and they're further in that direction.
Yes. It's been moving more towards like interactive animated series than anything, and this episode is very much that. And
this is one of the things that I liked about the first Walking Dead. Do we have to say goodbye?
We have to say goodbye.
Well, if you want to listen to the rest of this beautiful Walking Dead,
we're just saying goodbye to the KW.
I know.
Okay.
And if they want to listen to the rest of this wonderful
What do they
Walking
do?
Dead discussion,
Son?
go to joshandjayshow.com and download it, or check it out on iTunes. All right, now we can talk about the real fucking shit going on with this fucking motherfucker up in here.
Watch Dogs looks like fucking shit.
Fuck that. It looks fucking awesome.
So one of the things I liked about the first season was it did a good job of forcing the player to do things. Even if the puzzles were obvious, silly, stupid, they gave a sort of feeling of being there. They gave a feeling of action, like when you have to dig the grave for the dog.
Ugh.
Just the act of having to do that and giving the player agency is not the right word, but giving the player control of how that gets timed and whatever.
Yeah,
like that gives a feeling of
Video game.
Partially, yeah, but it also gives
you a feeling of presence.
Yeah, presence and structure, and this is a thing that I am doing as opposed to a thing that's there.
It forces you, rather than ignoring it or just clicking through something, you have to recognize yourself or your character in that moment by way of specific interactivity that has a specific pacing
of course,
to it.
And there's that can add to it feeling tense also when you know you have to go open the door. That door's not going to open until you click on the door.
Yeah.
You know?
And in this episode, pretty much all of the interaction had none of that kind of gravitas to it at all.
It was just like walk to a place and click on one thing.
It was like, oh, geez, we forgot to stick any part in here where the player has to do anything. Like, what should we have them do? Well, we can make them walk over here and click on this thing. Way to go, Johnny. Let's have lunch.
Yeah. And I feel like it's sort of a double-edged sword or something, where like critics and gamers all said, the best thing about The Walking Dead Season 1 is talking to people and the dialogue options and all that stuff, and the puzzles are stupid and walking around is stupid and the quick time events are stupid. Yeah. But you need that stuff. That stuff gives the game a structure. It gives the game a presence. And when you take that out, then all of a sudden it's just, like I said, it's just kind of there. It's just a bunch of stuff that happens.
Yeah, well, I want to say I have no problem with the type of or amount of interactivity in these games, but I want that interactivity to matter. Yeah. I mean, have it there for a reason other than just to have me interact with it for the sake of, well, we know there's a player there, so we got to have them do something. I mean, those interactions can carry more meaning with them than just the act of clicking on something. In this episode, it wasn't there as much.
We're going to take a quick break for technical reasons, and we will be...
Uh-huh.
Hi.
I think it's working.
Uh-huh.
Some technical difficulties, but we're back.
Not really.
I don't think Gary's too happy with the fact that you silenced the soundboard for the first hour of the episode.
Well, it just might
Are
be
you
weird
serious?
if we're just like laughing at the soundboard because we could hear it, and then maybe the audience couldn't.
Yeah, there may be, in the past hour, if you heard us laughing at nothing,
We were not high, drunk, or
Car
slowly
talk.
going insane.
We're not car talk.
Okay.
anyway.
Walking Dead, still Walking Dead,
Ta-da!
But more.
but more Walking Dead,
Ta-da!
but less Walking Dead,
Why?
less walking.
Less walking, more
Okay.
deading.
Yeah.
Okay, less walking, more deading.
Jay, I've had my trigger on the Banner Saga for a couple months now, and every time I go to click buy, I stop and I hesitate and I go, I don't.
It's like, get
No.
to 50% off, not 40.
Yeah,
Am I right?
Maybe. There's something about it. I've just heard some things about
Well,
it that make me...
I'll tell you all about it because I bought this game yesterday. It was on Steam sale. It was on the Steam like midweek madness
$20?
sale. It's 25.
Ah.
It was on sale for 15. And I added it to my wish list, and I know that the midweek sale ends on Thursday, but I swear on the thing it said it was over Friday. So when I checked Friday morning, it wasn't on sale anymore. So I'm like, all right, I guess that settles that. And then I saw, Amazon is doing their big summer sale, which I mentioned earlier. It should still be going on by the time this episode goes up. So there's a ton of stuff for super cheap in there. Good stuff.
The next
So-
20 minutes or so will be if I decide to buy the Banner Saga.
Okay, so I found the Banner Saga on Amazon also for $15, and I realized I had a $5 credit from, I think from buying Thief for
think I do.
PS4. So at least I got something from buying that stupid game. So I picked up Banner Saga for $10 on the cheap, and I played it all day yesterday. It's so good.
Really?
It is so good.
But
it-
you like stories.
I do.
I hate stories.
So I'm
Gary
suspect.
hates stories. I love stories, and this is a narrative ass game. So just know that up front. This is a super narrative ass game, and it's tremendous. It's basically Oregon Trail, and instead of doing the hunting, it turns into XCOM.
Okay.
But like with melee, or like Shadowrun Returns, but better. That's essentially the game. So
Did you play Final Fantasy Tactics or Ogre Tactics?
No.
Or,
nothing with tactics.
Advance
in the name.
Wars?
No.
Disgaea.
No.
any tactic games
No.
besides XCOM?
No.
ever?
You want me to call my brother? He
Okay.
played all those games.
So you're kind of going from XCOM into this.
Or I would say more Shadowrun Returns.
Fallout Tactics.
Okay.
Jagged Alliance 2.
Yeah, like that.
Yes, I think this is a Japanese-style tactics game, if that's what you're asking.
No, I know that. I'm just trying to get where Jay's high watermark for that is. And
Well, I'll tell you.
Literacy for
Obviously,
that
XCOM is amazing. Did you play Shadowrun Returns?
I've played enough of it.
Okay, I played enough of that I'm like, it's just not quite
But that's
there.
different. I mean, that's more RPG-ish, right? Like you're walking around town and stuff.
You're
Like,
right.
This is if I.
You're right.
I
You're,
saw-
you're right. It's different. It's
I think
not
the
the
defining
same kind of thing.
The battles like the battle system in Shadowrun is like XCOM for sure. But
Yeah, I'm only talking about the battle system.
but I think that the difference is usually you're just kind of seeing a map or a battle. Like you don't you don't control your character doing things besides being in a battle.
You're right. All right. So Banner Saga is most of the game is like Oregon Trail if it had more detailed like one-on-one conversations with your party members and that kind of thing. But it's very heavily scripted. Like I said, it's narrative heavy, but as you're traveling from one area to another, you see your whole caravan moving slowly through like these beautiful landscapes.
Let
And
me
it
ask
looks
you
like a
this.
Disney movie.
As far as how long each of the two parts are, like is it mostly watching them walk and talk, or is it mostly being in the battle?
So this is a West Wing simulator.
Are you mostly doing the narrative stuff, or are you mostly doing the you're in a battle stuff?
You're mostly doing the narrative stuff, but not so much that it's. I don't know. I think it strikes a good balance. I could see where some people might be frustrated that there aren't more combat situations.
Well, if they're
but
both
this is like
interesting.
Mass Effect, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like Mass Effect, you have that same sort of dichotomy, and
In Mass Effect, I enjoyed the walking around talking to people part more, and I feel like there was more of that for me because I spent more time doing.
Well, this
that than I
isn't
did fighting.
walking around talking. It's sort of the
No, I
characters progress through the thing, and
But
then the
there's two
story
parts.
progresses with people talking, and your dialogue choices do have an effect on sort of the meta game that involves managing the people in your caravan, which is not a lot of hands-on management, but you do have to make sure you have enough supplies to feed all your people so that they don't die. And as you're traveling, things will happen where you'll lose resources or lose people and members of your caravan, and it's very much like Oregon Trail.
That's a good way of
somebody
looking at
has
it, I think.
dysentery, and you're like, oh crap. But when these happen, when these events happen, there are choices that you make that directly affect how bad it really is. It's like you could either be a little bit screwed over or a lot screwed over.
And do you find you're informed enough to make those decisions?
No, not always.
are they embedded or are they emergent? Like, do random people get dysentery, or does dysentery strike after
Bill.
level
Yeah,
5?
no, I
dysentery.
understand what you're asking. The answer is I'm not totally sure. I have a feeling it's a combination. I think a lot of it is scripted, but I'd be very surprised if every, marker along that long journey is like a trigger for a scripted event.
In Rowan's reviews, at least the ones I've read lately, you often talk, Rowan, he's right there. You often talk about how when a game has sort of two modes, like a tactics game will have an overview, like Heroes of Might and Magic.
Yeah.
Will have an overview mode, and then there's the battle mode. And if you love one but hate the other, the game's not going to work. And if you need to kind of love both of those, have to work for the game to work. And that's why I was so curious about the balance between these two things, because you kind of have to like doing the Oregon Trail part as much as you love doing the battle part.
What happens is I believe that, and what I think the developers had in mind is that narrative heavy element makes the combat more engaging because you know more about the characters personally while they're on the battlefield. So, I mean, I'm not saying it makes a huge difference in the sort of strategic decisions I make, but sometimes I have thought about like, oh, do I want to put this person in the battle? That's, this guy's daughter. Do I want to put her at risk, kind of a thing? And
It's less that with narrative versus combat, but it's more that when a game only gets one side right, it had better be the right side.
Right, because there's the macro level and the micro level.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But this doesn't really have a macro. It's kind of, you're right. It's kind of different, I guess.
Yeah,
with the narrative.
and it also like trying to divide these things into how much time you spend on them is, I think, a really useful way to go about it. When you have you occasionally will encounter games where someone wants to talk about one thing that happens in them, like they want to talk about Blitzball in Final Fantasy X, because when you get introduced to Blitzball, it's really annoying and stupid, but you never have to play Blitzball again. So Blitzball can be like a 15-minute thing in a 30-hour game. So it's really not that interesting to talk about. But when you talk about like a Mass Effect, you have to talk about the combat and you have to talk about the talking, because that's half the game.
Yeah.
Like those are the two halves of it. It literally in the amount of time you spend.
I will tell you that I felt that this game was I kept playing it in the same kind of compulsive way that you would play Civilization or XCOM, where I was like one more milestone, one more landmark, or they're called Godstones, I think, that you pass
like
by.
Walking Dead tactics.
No, it's. I mean, it could be.
Because you're like, I didn't buy the food, and now Bill has dysentery, and then
Well, that doesn't necessarily happen. It's sort of it's not that specific normally, but sometimes specific members of your party can die.
how many
based
party
on,
members do you have?
I don't know. They keep growing.
How many are you allowed to put on the battlefield at once?
I think like 7.
And how many? And how many do you have?
Well, it's difficult to say because the game switches protagonists. So it switches points of view and you're controlling actually 2 completely different camps. So chapter 1 and chapter 3 I controlled, this one camp of people that had a completely different party than the caravan you control in chapters 2 and 4.
But is it like
Do they meet up and all get married?
I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, but I assume they do.
But do they? But there's more. You have more people than can fit on a battlefield.
Eventually, you do. You start out with.
And are they like there's ranged and then non-ranged, that kind of thing?
Oh, there's all kinds of different classes.
Is there magic?
They level up. I think there is. I've just met a guy who they're called weavers or something. They have some name that's not magician, but basically they're a magician or a wizard or whatever. And I assume that he will become a magic party member, but I just haven't gotten that far in the game, which is cool that they are introducing new class types this late in the game, because I'm in chapter 4. I'm probably like 5 or 6 hours into it.
If you do you have movement points and you move and then choose an action?
Yes. Let me tell you about the combat because I love the combat. And I think that there is a multiplayer version of this. Rowan, if you're going to get up, try not to make any noise, please. So
you what'd you expect?
600,000 penises.
yeah. So the combat is fantastic, and it revolves around the idea of you have strength points and shield points, and your attack is based on how many strength points you have, but that's also your hit points. So the more damage you take, the less efficient your attacks are.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Most of them don't do that.
Yeah.
Usually you have 1 hit point left, you still have your maximum attack.
That's not the case in this game.
What are your shield points?
Your shield points determine how much damage you take when you are attacked. So
But your shield points don't go down.
yeah, well, they can be. So each character has like a special ability that you can choose as opposed to their regular attack, which costs sort of like, I guess what would be mana points that each character has that you can use for either additional movement per turn, like you can move an extra tile or 2 extra tiles if you want to use 2 mana points, or you can use your mana points for their special ability, and they're different depending on what class the character is. You can attack by either doing a straight up attack, which is determined by your strength versus their shield points, or you can attack their shields and whittle down the amount of shield points they have to leave them more vulnerable for future attacks.
If you're going to attack their
Yes.
shield. Okay.
And some characters have a greater like stat ability point, or like, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Like their stat points that go into armor breaking can be higher depending on the class. So some classes might be better at breaking armor than others.
Do they level up and get new skills and stuff?
They level up, and they don't get new skills, but the special ability that they have gets better. So it does more damage or damages more enemies or something like that.
Do you choose to equip them with different items, or do they just have whatever?
No, they just have whatever. I mean, each character class kind of has their own weapon. You don't equip weapons or armor or anything. It's just pretty much straight up allocating points each time you level up to your strength points, which I said work for attack and hit points, your shield points, how many of those little mana points you can carry at a time, and then there's also a stat for how many mana points you can use per turn. So, for instance, if you choose to attack a guy and your character has a stat of like 2 in that category, he can use 2 extra mana points, which might be 2 extra damage or whatever.
And how do you choose turn order?
You can choose that at the beginning of the game. When you choose who's going out in the field, like what your squad's going to look like, you put them in what order you want them to go in. And there are archers for ranged attacks and stuff too. But you have humans and giants. Those are the 2 different main classes. So humans only take up 1 tile and they can move farther. Giants are stronger. They take up 4 tiles and they move. They can't move quite as far per turn.
What was the one that wasn't Banner Saga? That there was a demo for on Steam. Blackguard.
Blackguards?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of different though.
It's also a tactics RPG, though.
Pretty similar.
I didn't play that one as much.
That's the other one.
But I'm really digging Banner Saga, and that's the reason why I have no Dark Souls 2 update this week is because
Oh yeah,
Shit, we
I've
almost
been
didn't
playing,
mention it.
been playing Indiana Jones
forgot all about that game.
and Banner Saga. I mean, I don't know what happened. I still like Dark Souls. I plan on going back. I'm making good progress. Banner
Sometimes
Saga, man.
Well, you remember before we even started Dark Souls 2, you were talking about how Dark Souls just feels like there's so much despair when you're playing it. It's so lonely. You said it was lonely.
It's a lonely game. Yeah. It's
Lonely game.
It's a lonely ass game.
Open game.
Sometimes you just need to take a break and play something that's different. You know?
And then you have to start over again when you come back.
Yeah, because you forgot how everything works.
I remember how to point my swords up, dual wield power stance. That's all you need.
Y button.
Y button. Hold down the Y button. That's all you ever need.
Pooping game.
Okay, so I will not buy Banner Saga.
It's your loss.
No, it sounds cool. I'm
60% off Steam sale.
It's still
in August.
Yeah, maybe. It still makes me feel like, I don't know.
I think that the narrative portions are done so well, and it's all text. There's almost no voiceover in the whole game. So
All right, I'm in.
if you wanted to blow right through it, you could.
No, you sold me on the narrative part. That sounds good to me now.
Well, the combat's the best part about it, and I
my first
love
question.
everything else. Yeah.
It still sounds good to me. It sounded good last time.
I
heard someone
really
talk about it, but it's just not enough to...
really love the way that they design the tactical combat with your attack points and your hit points being tied together. It's just so different than anything I've played. That I really dig it.
So I'm free.
To do what you want.
Yes, I have broken free of
Any old
the
time.
bondage of Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Oh, God. Good.
It no longer demands my attention. Now I just read Marvel comic books on my phone.
I think they're a bunch of scrotums.
So you S-ranked it?
No, it just keeps going. Like
Oh.
there's no... There's not a point at which you get 100%. There's a point at which I no longer personally feel motivated to try to win its tournaments and go through and see all of its new things and so on.
How does
It's
Brad...
moderately multiplayer.
How does friend of the show Brad Galloway feel about that? Because he's still in, right? Are you gonna have to go in and get him, like extract him from?
I apparently I think
Deprogram
he's
him?
no longer tagging me on his updates
Oh, that's so sad.
about where he is with the game, so I'm off that crew, which I'm okay with because I'm not into the game anymore. But yeah, after 9 months of it being like the thing that I did when I wasn't doing anything, and then it became like the thing that I had to do at like 9 p.m. twice a week because that's when the tournaments ended.
So now you can play Game Dev Story. That's a good phone game.
I have a baker's shitload of phone games that I've never touched, but
The bakers shit a lot, so that's a lot of games.
I have Agricola from friend of the show Gus Mastrapa. He convinced me to get it. And
What's Agricola?
it's a game where you play a German peasant family.
Okay.
That's it. You gather food and have babies, and I don't know.
Rowan, you love making babies in video games, which
I
is ironic considering how anti-baby you are.
That's
in real
my.
life.
It's like that's my farming is his baby.
That's right.
I don't like the making babies itself. I like the babies coming back in time and having personalities. Like if the babies can grow up and do cool things and so on. Like, I'm okay with that. But
I'm going to have to mark that time because I'm going to have to pull that Rowan does not like making babies.
So, did you ever play Monster Rancher on PlayStation? The original one? The first one?
no.
Okay. I had some of that. You're breeding.
And they
a lot
come
of
back
breeding.
in time?
Yeah, if it's got like a eugenics program
Yeah, it does.
where you can like breed stats into future generations.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
That I'm into.
That's the whole point of the game.
But if it's just like spawning for spawning's sake, no.
No. You spawn your original creatures out of your CDs.
That's the one that's like the Chocobo spawning from Final Fantasy VII made into its own game, right?
kind of like every CD compact disc you have.
So you want to make a master race of chocobos?
If you've never played Final Fantasy VII,
Master
yes, that's what
race,
you
master
do.
race.
That's like one of the big end game things
to make the gold chocobo.
to make the golden chocobo, so you can get the best materia in the game.
Wow, so it's going back to our Nazi discussion from earlier. This all comes full
It
circle.
all comes full circle.
It's a master race of golden chocobos who can get Knights of the Round.
Wow.
And then you clone Knights of the Round, and you can do 2-minute long summons anytime you want.
Nazi chocobos.
Maybe I'll play that. I'm going on a trip soon, which means I'm going to be on a plane, which means I need to lock in on whatever portable game I'm going to spend my time on.
How's Bravely Default going?
It's good, but I started over, so it's kind of I don't know.
Is there no fast forward button?
Oh, there is. There's everything in that. You can auto combat, you can fast forward combat.
Not combat, cutscenes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
This game lets you do everything. You can turn off random battles. You can do whatever you want.
What about the credits? Can you fast forward the credits?
I've never seen the credits.
Oh.
Burn.
I had to start over because Rowan turned my my SD card on my 3DS into his personal master race simulator.
This is why I'm a critic.
It can only fit one game at a time, and it has his Fire Emblem save on it.
Oh.
I had to just I just took it out.
Guess you're just going to have to get a new DS.
Yeah, basically. So basically, I just put in a different card, and then that's my card. Now,
But I think we should also talk about how Nintendo's default card only has room for one RPG.
Nintendo.
Yeah, only one kind of the larger games. But also, well, that would be fine if when you deleted a game, it didn't delete all your saves. So you can't delete a game for space and keep your saves. That's really weird.
That is weird. Very weird. Why can't you do that?
I don't know. It's Nintendo. Because
Nintendo.
So this is why I'm looking forward to Massive Chalice. The Double Fine roguelike
bet you are, pervert.
tactics, whatever, because it's you're spawning all these children. It's like a generational Crusader Kings tactics game.
I'm trying to think of another game. Monster Rancher was really good at that because that's what you wanted to do. I'm trying to think of another game that has that stuff.
I mean, Crusader Kings kind of does, but that's nature and nurture are very complicated in that game.
You know what? Before I forget, Rowan, I've been meaning to ask you this on the last couple podcasts, but there is a show that my wife and I started watching, and you may not have seen it because I don't know what kind of access you might or may not have to this show, but it's basically Crusader Kings, the series.
Oh, you mean Game of Thrones? That's
No.
a pretty good show.
No, I mean the show called...
Super good.
It's called The White Queen. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah, that's like a British miniseries.
It's I don't think it's a mini series. I think it's a full-on series that is on. It's on one of the movie channels like Stars or Showtime or something. It is all British, but it's basically takes place during the War of the Roses, and it's all of the sort of political upheaval, civil war going on in England during that time. But it was created and it's written by a woman, and most of the interesting storylines have to do with the female characters, which is a completely different kind of version of this period piece of a show. It's like the opposite of Game of Thrones, in that if you held them up side by side, you'd be like, well, obviously this is the one that was created by a man and this is the one that was created by a woman. But to its strength, I think.
I would argue that Game of Thrones is very woman-centered.
Yeah,
given its reputation. I mean,
No.
it probably should stand to be more woman-centered.
I'm not talking about the content of the story. I'm talking about the way that the story is told through, like, it's super violent and super sexual in a way that seems like more it would come out of the vision of a man. And this show is not quite as centered or focused on those aspects of it.
Are you saying that women don't like sex, Jay?
No.
Is that what
no,
you're
no,
saying?
No. I'm saying it's a different...
Why are you being gender essentialist?
I'm saying this show is actually very sexy. It's a different kind of sexy.
Oh, so it's like the female porn.
What? Female porn? What's
My
female
jokes?
porn?
Female porn is like they like hang out and talk and hug and stuff. I've seen it.
No, this is...
They did.
It's like the start of that Tarantino movie.
Wow.
Death Proof.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Well, no. There's lots of sex in this show. It's just not like a little person, I don't know, like raping two hookers or something, or two whores or whatever.
Hello.
Like the kind of crazy sexual violence that they... Anyway.
Oh, on Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is... Anyway, it's a really great show, and I think you especially would be into it if you have access to it, because the whole first episode and up until the final scene where it's this great verbal standoff between the sort of, I don't know, queen for the moment, she's this old matriarch, and the mother of who's going to be the future queen, and it gets really intense.
I think that we would like to watch that. That sounds like something we would like.
It's really good.
Are there mysteries that have to be recreated and solved?
Well, we're trying to wean ourselves off Investigation Discovery. But I have breaking news
You do.
to end this show. The lead singer of The Offspring might lose both of his planes because he's failed to pay for his third plane.
Oh my god. What's that guy's name? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Okay.
It's
does anybody
like
know the name?
Daryl, Derek, Darren, something.
Last name is Holland.
Yeah, isn't his name like Daryl Holland?
Dexter.
Dexter, thank you. I knew it was something with a D. He's definitely something with a D. That's for sure.
He's pretty D for a D.
For a D, it's pretty D for a D.
He's like the who's that douche, the cooking guy with the frosted
Guy Fieri.
He's like the punk Guy Fieri.
The punk Guy Fieri, because Guy Fieri is not the punk Guy Fieri.
Dexter Holland is the
like
punk
that.
Guy Fieri.
Sounds good.
All right, fools. I don't know if we're gonna have an episode up before E3, but
E3.
maybe.
Genuine enthusiasm.
We're gonna be gone next week.
We're pretty excited for E3.
Genuine enthusiasm.
Yeah, they're gonna announce Watch Dogs 2.
I don't care about that.
Next episode, I'm going to tell you guys all about why Watch Dogs rules. That's going to be my goal.
Yeah, I might also.
Begrudging. Josh is going to begrudgingly enjoy a video game.
It's on Xbox One.
There you go. Good for you.
This is its reason for existence.
Thanks a lot for listening, everyone. As always, send us emails. joshandjayshow@gmail.com. Leave us a review on iTunes. At Rowan Kaiser, at Joshua Doan, at Jay Pullman, at Josh and Jay Show. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
She's a superstar with her mind across to bear. And when my